Okay, let's begin with our lesson. Well, let's start. Just give me a second and let me share my screen. Can you see my presentation?
Yes.
Well, let's start. The penalty game. Please read the sentence and choose the best answer for you.
Okay. Ted's flight from Amsterdam took more than 11 hours. He must be exhausted.
Yes, he must be. Perfect. Perfect, yeah. He must be because you are 100% sure. You are really sure about that. You say must. Number two, Mary, continue.
Okay. Hiking the trail to the peak can be dangerous if you are not well prepared for dramatic weather changes.
But now it says hiking the trail to the peak be dangerous if you are not well. When you say if you are not well prepared.
Might.
Might.
Yeah. Might.
Might, of course. Yes, before you choose the answer, analyze. Next.
Dave, you hold your breath for more than a minute. Should.
Should. Should you hold your breath for more than a minute? What does it mean in Spanish? Should you hold your breath?
Deberías to respirar más de un minuto. No.
Hold your breath means aguantar la respiración.
Oh, okay. Hold your breath. Means.
Hold your breath.
Okay. Might. No, excuse me. Can.
Yes. Can you? Because it's ability. Hey, can you hold your breath for more than a minute?
Exactly.
Yes. Go next. Please again, Mary, the next.
Okay. Jenny's engagement ring is enormous. It costs a fortune. It must have cost.
It must, because you're pretty sure it's enormous, so it must have cost a fortune. Cool. Next, Jimmy, please read and choose the answer.
Please make sure you water. Make sure to water my plants while I am gone. If I don't get enough water, they could die.
They could die. Perfect, Jimmy. Possibility. They could die. Mary, you continue. Are you there, Mary?
Yes, sorry, I couldn't hear well. So I speak Arabic fluently when I was a child and we lived in Egypt. I could.
I could is the past. I could. Perfect. Jimmy, what about you?
The book is optional. My professor said we if we need extra credit. We could read.
We could read it if we needed extra credit. Goal. And the last one, Mary, for you. What is the answer?
Okay. You take your umbrella along with you today. It will rain. You should take your umbrella.
Yeah, because it's a piece of advice. You should. Thank you. And the last for you, Jimmy.
I really should use the bathroom.
I really should use the bathroom.
Have to use the bathroom.
I really have to use the bathroom. Well, now, guys, I realize that you know how to use the modal verbs. So now we can go to the next topic because well, you know the grammar, so I will not explain. Next part, do you have any questions about these three words? Questions, right?
No.
Okay, pretty cool, pretty cool. Now, next page. Yeah, what is this? Okay, it's here. I know that you know how to speak English, of course, but let me show you something. Maybe it's a reminder for you. Informal contractions. English learners are often puzzled by expressions like gonna or wanna that they often hear in movies or perhaps reading comic strips. If they look up to these expressions in a dictionary, they might not find them, which increase the puzzlement even further. In fact, these expressions do exist and can be found in good dictionaries. They are informal contractions or short form of other words that people use when speaking casually. They are not exactly slang, but they are a little like slang. For example, gonna is a short form of going to. If you say going to very fast without carefully pronouncing each word, it can sound like gonna. Here are some of the most common informal contractions with example sentences. The first one we have is give me, but when you say give me, it's perfect. But you can also say gimme, gimme, gimme your money. Don't give me that rubbish. Can you give me a hand? This is the first one. Gonna is going to. Nothing's gonna change my love for you. I'm not gonna tell you. What are you gonna do? And then we have gotta. Gotta contraction, have, got, or have got, or just got. For example, I've got a run, I got a gun, she hasn't got a penny. Have you got a car? Have got a car? And remember that we practiced this in the previous session. Guys, do you have any questions about these three words, three contractions?
Carlos, sorry. So when I do writing, for example, it's possible that I can write.
Well, it depends, of course. You can use this contraction just when you speak.
It's only in speaking, right?
Yes, in
Okay.
spoken English, you never use contractions like this, like gonna, give me. Informal piece of writings, for example, an essay, a review. No, we never do that because it's
And emails,
informal.
maybe.
But it depends.
Yeah, okay.
Informal emails. Maybe your friends, maybe your family, but you never use this word informal writings.
Okay. Perfect.
Never.
Okay.
Next, then we have gotta, which means got to. Gotta is similar to gotta, have gotta, and have got to. I've gotta go now. I gotta go now. We haven't gotta do that. Have they gotta work? Have they have to go to work? In it is contraction for isn't it? That's a smart, isn't it? Isn't it strange? Kinda, similar to kinda. She's kinda cute. Are you kinda mad at me? Do you have any questions about these three words? Nope.
And it's
And
no.
No. Okay, that's great. What about you, Mary? No questions?
No.
Oh, that's great. You know this word, so now you are learning contractions. Then we have let me. Let me go, let me go. I didn't, let me see it. He didn't, let me see it. One, of course, you know, want to, but also wanna can be want plus a. I want a coffee. I don't want a thing from you. You want a beer? Do you want a beer? Like, I want to go home. I don't want to go. Did you understand? Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. So guys, please remember that these are informal contractions. That means that we do not use them in correct speech. And we almost never use them in writing. Well, if you see them in writing, for example, in a cartoon, That's because the written words represent the spoken words or a dialogue. We use them only when speaking fast and casually. For example, with friends, and many careful speakers never use them. Also, note that a sentence above may be rather artificial because when you use a contraction, we may also use other contractions in the same sentence or even drop some words completely. For example, we have the word, do you want a beard? Then we have, do you want a beard? You want a beard? Yeah, yeah. Do you want a beard? You want a beard? Want a beard? Do you remember our class ellipses? Do you remember that lesson? Yes or not? You don't?
No.
Well, in that lesson, we learned that we can drop some words. Do you remember function and content words? We drop them from a sentence.
Okay. Yeah.
So that is the reason that, for example, I say, understand, got it? Instead of, did you get it? No, I say, got it, because I can do that because these are function words. If you don't remember, I can teach you again, of course. English checker, artificial, not realistic. Casual, relax, without much care, without formality. Informal, relax. Puzzle, confused because difficult to understand. Puzzlement, confusion. Rather, quite, or to agree, a certain degree. Any questions about these words? No, right? So remember that you can use these contractions when you are speaking in English, of course, in a casual conversation with your friends, family, etc. But you never use them in writing because the writings are important formal English. Any questions?
No,
No,
teacher.
it's clear.
Okay, so now let's continue here. Let me share the screen. The question is, do you have cash? My question, Mary, when you go to the store and you buy some products, how do you pay? With cash or credit card?
Okay, before I paid with cash, but yeah, but nowadays I pay with my credit card because
Great.
it's easier
It's
than,
easier
yes, than pay in by cash.
by cash.
Yes.
You use a credit card or you use a debit card?
Debit card.
Yeah,
Debit card is when I have to pay monthly, mensualmente.
No.
No?
This is credit card. Debit card is before you put the money and then you can buy. If you don't have money in the card, you can buy. But credit card, even when you don't have money in your card, you can buy product, but you pay monthly.
No. I have debit card.
You have debit
Yes,
card.
yes.
It's
Exactly.
better, I think. Okay, of course. What about you, Jimmy? Which one do you have? Debit or credit card?
The most of the time I use cash because it's very fast and safer. At the same time, for example, when I need to pay a big amount of money, maybe I use credit card. But usually I pay by apps at home.
You use apps. Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So now today, what does this symbol represent? It represents the American currency. What is the American currency?
Dollar.
The dollar, of course. On American bills and coins, you can learn a lot about American history. So maybe you know this. This is a $1 bill. Do you know who he is?
Washington.
Washington? Or Franklin? No?
George Washington. Yes, George Washington is on the $1 bill. He became the first president of the United States in 100 or 1789. George Washington. Many details at the back of the bill illustrate the beginning of the United States when the first colony became independent in 1776. Look at this. We have the pyramid. How many levels on the pyramid? Can you tell me how many levels we have here? Or how many stripes on the shield? How many stripes do you know?
15?
15.
15 could be.
And how many stripes on the shield?
Stripes. No, here it has 3, 7.
13. There are
13.
13. 13 represent the 13 colonies that rebel against the British monarchy, and they became the first state of the Union. There are, if you can count here, you say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And now you know the reason. 13 represent the colonies that rebel against the British monarchy. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Nice, interesting. And how many stripes are there on the American flag? Of course, 13. This is a $5 bill. Who is on the bill? Do you remember this man? He is in some movies.
Abraham Lincoln.
Abraham Lincoln, of course. Abraham is on the $5 bill. In Peru, we don't have 5 soles bill, right? No, right? 5
No.
soles bill, no. He was the 16th president of the US. Remember that the first one was George Washington. He was the 16th. And this is a $100 bill. Who is on the bill? Do you know this man?
Benjamin Franklin.
Benjamin Franklin is on the $100. He wasn't a president, but he was a founding father. He created the USA, and he was a scientist. So he is in the $100 bill. So sometimes when you buy a product and they say, hey, do you have change? Because I have bills. ¿Tienes cambio? ¿Tienes sencillo? Do you have change? Look at this. This is a nickel. The nickel, it is worth 5 cents. The nickel. Okay, this is the nickel. This is a dime. The dime is worth 10 cents. Look at the difference. Look at here you have like a building, and here you have, it is like very bigger, 1 dime. It means 10 cents. And last but not least, we have a quarter. And the quarter, it is worth 25 cents. 25, 10, and 5 cents. Nickel, dime, and quarter. Did you understand?
Yeah.
In Spanish, we have 10 cents, but you know their cents, it's like worth. And that's all, guys. Okay, so now you know the currency. So now I prepared a lesson for you. When we go to the doctor, maybe when we go to the hospital, when we go to the emergency. Let me share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes, teacher.
Yes.
So guys, I have a question. ¿Cómo te preguntará el doctor, ¿desde cuándo te sientes así? Any ideas?
How long do you feel? How
How
long do
long do
you
you
feel?
feel? How long do you feel? Okay, ¿desde cuándo? How long have you been feeling like this? El doctor te dirá, hey, how long have you been feeling like this? Get it? ¿Cuánto tiempo te has estado sintiendo de esa manera? How long have you been feeling like this? Sentence number 2. ¿Cómo se siente en general? How do you say that in English?
How do you feel overall?
How have you been feeling generally? How have you been feeling generally? Carlos, if I say what do you say? How do you feel, right? Generally, it's okay. But remember that you say, how have you been? Because remember that the present perfect progressive is an action that started in the past and continue up to now. And when you say, how do you feel? it refers to the routine. Did you understand or not?
Yes.
For example, look at this sentence. It's a common mistake that when you want to say, hey, how do you feel? No, look at this. I like to play soccer. Si yo te digo, I like to play soccer, pregunta, ¿qué trato de decir? ¿O ¿Ustedes qué opinan si yo te digo, I like to play soccer? ¿Juego siempre o juego a veces o nunca juego? Me gusta jugar.
It's a routine.
Yeah, it's a routine. Quiere decir que yo juego casi siempre, ¿cierto? O juego la mayor parte de cada vez que pueda. Listo. Pero ¿qué pasa si digo, I would like to play soccer? ¿Juego siempre?
No, me gustaría.
No. Me
No.
gustaría, of course. Si yo te digo, how do you feel? Or how do you feel? How do you feel? How do you feel es, ¿cómo te sientes? Y aquí es, how long have you been feeling? ¿Cómo te has estado sintiendo? Recuerda que el how do you feel, el presente simple, se usa para rutinas. Y este se usa para situaciones que iniciaron en el pasado, pero que continúan hasta ahora. El doctor me pregunta cómo me sentí en el pasado y cómo me sigo sintiendo ahora. ¿Por qué? Porque tengo un síntoma. ¿Ok? Si él me dice, how do you feel? Probablemente es cómo me siento, especialmente este día. ¿Ok? Recordemos que los doctores, si te preguntan cómo estás y te dicen, how are you? How are you? Te pueden decir, ¿no? ¿Cómo te sientes? ¿No? ¿Qué sientes? How are you? Ese how are you no es, ¿cómo estás? I'm happy and you, no. How are you? Tienes que describir tus síntomas. ¿Ok? Remember. Next question. ¿Es posible que estuviera embarazada? How do you say that in English? Is it?
That I have been pregnant.
Is there any possibility you might be pregnant? Is there any possibility? ¿Hay alguna posibilidad?
To the other. Pensé que era, o sea, como en primera persona.
Exactly. Well, is there any possibility you might be pregnant? And the last one, maybe. ¿Tiene usted alguna alergia? How do you say this in English?
Have you get some allergy?
No. Mary, do you know?
Have you got any allergy?
No. Do you
you
have
have?
any allergies?
No.
Or you say, are you allergic to anything? Yes. Remember that we never translate literally. Tratemos de no traducir literalmente, ¿no? It is perfect. It's okay. And the last question before we continue with this workshop. ¿Estás tomando algún medicamento in English?
Have
Any
you
question?
drinking some medicine?
Uh-oh. Are you on? On. For example, no puedo beber cerveza porque estoy tomando pastillas. Well, I can drink beer because I am on antibiotics. I am on drugs. Estoy bajo drogas, estoy bajo pastillas. I am on antibiotics. Estoy tomando antibióticos. Cuando tú estás on something, quiere decir que los estás consumiendo. Did you understand?
Absolutely.
Perfect. One more. ¿Dónde le duele? How do we say this in English?
Where it hurts?
Where does it hurt? Where does it hurt? ¿Es urgente?
It's urgent.
Is it urgent?
Is it urgent? Is it urgent? ¿Le duele cuando presiono aquí?
It hurts when I put it on here.
Does it hurt? Does it hurt when I press here? That is the answer. Does it hurt when I press here? Next one. Tengo que tomarle. How do we say this? No. I'm going to take your. ¿Puede remangarse la camisa? Could or can. Could you roll up your sleeve? Okay. Did you understand?
Mhm.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay. Well, guys, let's continue. Let's continue. Let's start with the Anki presentation. Okie dokie. Today, we are going to practice with different expressions and words. Okay. Okay. And one sec.
Okay.
Yes. Guys, remember that it's important that you practice these sentences that I'm going to share now with you. They are, especially if you want to speak more and more formal or something like that, right? So let's start. And well, I'm not sharing the screen, really. Now, what do you think?
No, not yet.
Guys, what is the opposite? Polite, the opposite, polite.
I'm polite.
Unpolite or impolite? Impolite, okay? Next. How do you say de ninguna manera estoy listo para aceptar el trabajo? How do we say this in English?
Nobody there.
Remember, de ninguna manera. Mary, do you remember? How do we say de ninguna manera in English? By
the way.
By no
No
means.
means.
By no means. For example, how do you say estoy listo para aceptar el trabajo in English? How do you say estoy listo para aceptar el trabajo?
I am ready.
I am ready to accept the job. But if you want to say de ninguna manera, you do this. I am ready, but then you say this. I am by no means ready to accept the job. You get it?
Yes.
By no means. Yeah.
I am by no means, but Carlos, this is because you have the verb be. Yes, because I have the verb be. But for example, how do you say de ninguna manera comeré esto in English?
I am by no means.
Okay, I am by no means.
This.
Eliminen primero el de ninguna manera. ¿Cómo queda? De ninguna manera. Ya. Comeré eso. ¿Cómo se dice comeré eso? I will. I will eat that. Ahora le agrego aquí, antes del verbo.
I will by means.
By no means.
I will by no means eat
That.
Guys, remember that they are like adverbs. Adverb go before the verb be, but after the verb be, but before whatever verb that you have. Do you remember? Look at this. I am always happy, but I always play soccer. The adverbs goes after the verb be, but before any verb. Did you understand?
Yeah.
So now, how do you say de ninguna manera estoy listo para aceptar el trabajo in English?
I am
No by
the expression is by no means.
I am by no means ready to accept this job.
To accept that job. Perfect. I am by no means ready to accept the job. Next. Lo opuesto a expected. Expected, esperada. Expected.
Unexpected.
Unexpected, of course, unexpected. How do you say? Ha llegado el momento de que los educadores aborden el problema. O ya es hora de que los educadores aborden el problema. Do you know?
It's time that educators, no, the
Okay.
professors.
Okay.
mm,
Okay, remember this structure, Mary and Jimmy. In English, we have the sentence, it's time or it's high time, okay? It's time or it's high time. And then, of course, you use a subject. You use a subject. You use a subject. It's time, it's high time, the subject. And then, please, don't forget, we have to write a verb, but in the past form. Always. Por ejemplo, ya es hora de que te pongas a trabajar. Pregunta, si yo le digo a alguien, oye, ya es hora de que te pongas a trabajar, ¿qué le estoy diciendo? ¿Esta persona trabaja o no trabaja?
Trabajo.
no,
No trabaja. Y le digo, oye, ya es hora de que te pongas a trabajar. ¿Cómo sería? It's
it's
high
time.
time.
It's time.
It's high time you worked.
Works.
Ajá. Pero ¿qué pasa si yo digo lo siguiente? Focus on this. It's high time. It's high time for you to work. ¿Cuál es la diferencia entre decir it's high time you worked, it's high time for you to work? Any ideas? No.
Que una es una sugerencia, suggest, and the other is a imperative order.
Maybe. The first one, ya es hora de que trabajes. La persona no trabaja. Pero si yo te digo, oye, it's high time for you to work. Ya es hora de que trabajes. Quiere decir que la persona trabaja, pero justo en este momento ya le toca trabajar. ¿Se entendió?
Yes.
Por ejemplo, cuando veamos la siguiente oración, it's high time, and we practice. Pregunta, oye, ya, ¿por qué le digo la T? I don't know why. It's high time we practice. Ya es hora de que practiquemos. ¿Nosotros practicamos? No. Y si te digo, it's high time for us to practice. ¿Nosotros practicamos? Sí.
Sí,
Sí practicamos. Y justo ahorita ya nos toca, porque ya es hora de que practiquemos, porque ya nos toca. ¿Se entendió la diferencia?
ok.
No. Si no se entiende, puedo volver a explicar. No problem. You got it, Mary? You got Jimmy?
Yeah, I get it. For us,
What
it's
about?
Yes.
when it's the exactly time we need to start as an option.
Yes, and the first one is like a suggestion, like you said before. Pretty cool. Now, guys, we always use the problem. We use solve a problem, right? Solve a problem. Or now, remember, solve a problem means solucionar un problema. How do you say lidiar? Do you remember?
Here with
Deal with something, right? Lidiar. Deal with. Remember that a synonym for this word is cope with. Deal with something, cope with something. They are the same. Did you understand? Sure. If you want to take your English to the next level, what you have to do is to use another expression or word. We use tackle. You tackle a problem. You tackle an issue. You tackle a situation. Did you understand? Tackle, lidiar con algo. Abordar un problema, una situación. Cuando tú abordas un problema o situación, le enfrentas. Did you understand?
Yes.
So now let's check the answer. It is high time educators tackle this problem. Did you understand, Mary and Jimmy?
Yeah.
Pretty
Yes.
cool. Next, how do you say no hay ninguna diferencia en que tomes el examen en junio o no?
There's no difference
There's no difference.
on in June or not.
Okay, Mary, what is your answer?
There is no difference if you take the exam right
Oh.
now or in June.
Remember, it makes no difference. It makes no difference. No hace ninguna diferencia. No hay diferencia con que. It makes no difference. It makes no difference. If you take the exam in June or not. Did you understand?
Yes, but it's not correct to say there isn't.
If you say there isn't any difference. There isn't any difference. This would be better. There isn't any difference.
Okay.
Okie dokie. Because in this case different, what does it mean in Spanish for you? No hay ninguna diferencia. ¿Qué significa para ti este difference?
It's the same.
Es un
Cambio.
cambio, ¿cierto? Si te digo, oye, no hay ninguna diferencia, no hay ningún cambio, como que no pasa nada, ¿cierto? En ese caso, difference es incontable. Por eso utilizo el listen. Pero ¿qué pasa si yo te pongo una imagen aquí, una imagen acá y te digo, encuentra la diferencia? Si yo te digo, entre las dos imágenes hay 4 diferencias. Esta diferencia viene a ser contable. ¿Se entendió, Jimmy y Mary?
Okay.
Yes.
Entonces, cuando yo me refiero a diferencia, ¿me refiero al cambio o a que es distinto en algo? Si te digo, oye, no hay ninguna diferencia si tomas esta pastilla o no, no te pasa nada. ¿Eso es un cambio? ¿O es que estoy encontrando 4 características que no tenía esta y el otro?
Features.
¿Features? ¿Hasta seguro, Jimmy?
Any difference?
Imagínate que compre una carapulcra en Chincha y una carapulcra en Cañete. Ambos son carapulcras, pero hay ciertas diferencias. Por ejemplo, aquí comen con arroz, aquí comen con fideos. Aquí le echan carne de pollo, aquí le echan carne de gato. ¿Cuántas diferencias tenemos?
Two.
Dos diferencias, muy bien. Ahora, Jimmy, no hay diferencia si tomas el examen hoy o lo tomas mañana. De la misma manera te voy a evaluar. Si lo tomas hoy, te voy a poner del 0 al 20 y si lo tomas mañana, del 0 al 20. Allí difference es incontable. Pero si me refiero a que es aquí, features, como mencionaste, allí sí es contable. Ahora, en este caso, it makes no difference if you take the exam in June or not. Es de qué es, contable o incontable.
Uncountable.
Uncountable, por eso pongo there isn't. Did you understand?
Okay.
¿Se entendió, Mary and Jimmy? Another example, maybe?
Yes.
It's perfect. Or another example?
Maybe another example.
Another example, okie dokie. So for example, you are assigned to take this exam, okay? And you are going to take the A exam. And then Pepito is going to take the exam B, okay? There are 5 questions and 5 questions. But the topics are different. The A exam is the verb be. And the B exam we have is the verb be too, but in past. Okay? And then you have here, you have to draw. And here, you have to paste. Paste. Okay, focus on these exams, Mary. How many difference can you see here? 1,
2.
2 differences. So you say there are 2 Differences. Did you understand? Hay dos diferencias.
Yes.
Se nota que hay dos cosas distintas. But Mary, you are in advanced 5. And Jimmy is in advanced 6. You have to pass the exam or not?
Yes.
So you say, it makes a difference. No hace ninguna diferencia. You can pass the exams. Puedes pasar ambos exámenes. You see? Or maybe, another example. The exam is today. And the score goes from 0 to 20. El examen es hoy día y la nota va desde 0 a 20. Profesor, hoy día no puedo ir. Carlos, today I will be absent for today's lesson. Can I take the exam tomorrow? Yes. Tomorrow you can take the exam and the score go from 0 to 20. Mira que la nota de hoy va a ser de 0 a 20 y la nota de mañana va a ser... No hay ninguna diferencia con que lo tomes hoy o lo tomes mañana. La nota va a seguir siendo igual. Incontable. Did you understand now?
Yes.
Yes, pretty cool. Lo opuesto a polite.
Impolite.
Impolite. Perfect. De ninguna manera estoy listo para aceptar el trabajo en English.
No.
Type your answer in the chat box, maybe. You can type your answers. Okay, or let me ask first. Mary, how do you say de ninguna manera estoy listo para aceptar el trabajo?
I am by not.
By not?
No. I couldn't
Okay.
copy this part.
Jimmy, what about you?
I am not by the means to ready accept the job.
I am by no means. I am by no means ready to accept the job. Next example. No recuerdo lo que estabas hablando. How do you say this in English?
I don't remind what you were talking.
Okay, remember that you say, I don't remember what you were talking about. In English, when you want to take your English to the next level, you say, I have no recollection of what you are talking about. How do you say, for example, no me acuerdo nada de lo que pasó ayer in English?
I don't remember nothing.
I don't remember, you say, I don't remember anything about, I don't remember.
Happened yesterday?
And I don't remember anything, or I don't remember what happened. What happened yesterday. But I want you to use the structure, I have no recollection. So you say, I have no
recollection of what happened yesterday.
Did you understand?
Yeah.
Yes.
And in the past, I
had not.
I have no recollection of.
Oh.
Yes, and in the past or in the present, but she has no. Did you understand?
Yes.
Guys, remember that if you don't want to say I have no recollection, you can also use the word I have no memory of. It's the same. It's the same. I have no memory of, or I have no recollection. Did you understand?
Yeah.
Pretty cool. How do you say, los estudiantes serán bien preparados para su futuro siempre y cuando los profesores incluyan tecnología en sus salones de clases?
The students will be, no,
Must be, could be. The students must
The
be
student
prepared for the
must be.
future.
When you say the student must be prepared, I think los estudiantes deben ser o deben estar. Well, the structure is serán bien preparados.
Will
Let me
be.
analyze. Will be, Mary, will be prepared. For their future, remember, siempre y cuando. Provided that, remember that in English we have 3 sentences. As long as, provided that, and providing. For example, Jimmy, how do you say, tú irás a la fiesta siempre y cuando pases el examen?
you will go into the party, provided that you pass the exam.
Amazing, provided that. Did you understand? Or you can say, well, you will go to the party as long as you pass the exam. You will go to the party provided that you pass the exam. Did you understand, Mary and Jimmy?
Yeah.
Yes.
Pretty cool. Remember that you are in the level where you just need to remember more words and practice a structure, okay? Ya están en un nivel donde ya no hay que más enseñarle, sino reforzar lo aprendido. Tell me, Jimmy.
When you say provided, it could be a translate mediante, es como decir algo formal, o sea, mediante tú pases o tú tengas esto.
No, provided that is just siempre y cuando, but formal. Provided that or providing means siempre y cuando, but formal. Es una manera formal de decir siempre y cuando, like as long as, provided that.
Okay.
It would be siempre y cuando. No, it's the same. It's the same. Include technology in their classroom. Next, ya lo conocen. A ver, Jimmy, tu momento ha llegado. Ha llegado el momento de que los educadores aborden el problema.
It's the high time.
Ujú.
The high time that professors aborden is drive the problem.
I'm afraid not. I'm afraid not means I'm afraid not is like in Spanish I say me temo que no.
Okay, I'm afraid not.
Por ejemplo, Carlos, ¿se encuentra María? Oh, I'm afraid not. She is at school. Did you understand, Mary, Jimmy? I'm afraid not. Yes. Yes. And okay, remember, guys. Mary, what about you? What is your answer?
Tackle.
Aha, tackle. Yes, tackle. But the structure, it's high time. It's high time or just it's time. High time you can omit. It's optional. It's optional. It's
Okay.
optional. What about you, Mary? De ninguna manera fue una gran actuación. Él no merecía ganar.
There isn't any way.
¿Te acuerdas cómo se
No
decía
way.
de ninguna manera?
Yeah, you wrote. Can you explain?
By
That, no. By mean, no.
By no.
By no means.
By no means. Ya, ahora agrégalo acá. ¿Cómo sería?
By no means.
It's
Was.
It was.
By no means it was.
It was what?
Nice performance.
A great performance, a great performance. Él no merecía ganar.
Mm, he, mm, él no merecía.
Merecer. Remember, deserve.
Sir.
Merecer. Merecer. You deserve to die. Mereces morir. You deserve to win. Mereces ganar. Como sería, él no merecía,
He doesn't deserve.
He didn't
Ah,
deserve.
yes,
He didn't
deserve
deserve to.
to win.
Recuerden que después de deserve, el verbo va con to. Ahora, tenemos que incluir este by no means. Este lo copiamos acá y lo pegamos después del was.
Oh, it was by no means. Ah, okay.
It was by no means a great performance. He didn't deserve to win. Did you understand?
Ajá. Esto fue de mi manera una gran actuación.
¿Entienden por qué el by no means va aquí? ¿O desean que le explique para que no se confundan?
Yes, please.
Okay. In English, we have adverbs. Adverbs, for example, usually, never, sometimes, hardly, hardly ever, never, often, of course. This is what we call adverbs. These adverbs, they have a structure. They goes adverbs, and then we have the verb. But when you have the verb be, they go after adverbs. For example, yo siempre estoy feliz. Ah, esto es, ¿cómo es? Yo siempre estoy feliz. ¿Cómo es estoy feliz? I am happy. Y le agrego el siempre. Siempre es always. Según esto me dice que el verbo to be, luego va el adverbs. Por lo tanto, pongo I am always be. Ahora yo digo, yo nunca como ceviche. So, yo como ceviche, I eat ceviche. Ah, pero no es el verbo to be, es un verbo cualquiera. Entonces pongo I never eat ceviche. Carlos, ¿qué pasa si digo yo siempre estoy aprendiendo nuevas cosas? Okidoki. O sea, digo, como digo yo estoy aprendiendo.
I'm
I
learning.
am learning, but va después del verbo to be, pero antes del verbo. So I am always learning. Okay, did you understand this part?
Yes.
There are exceptions. There are exceptions. Focus on this part. In English, we have the words sometimes and usually. They are like superheroes. Carlos, why? Because usually and sometimes you can do this. You say, I sometimes play soccer. Is that perfect for you, right? Sometimes here in the middle, or you can say sometimes I play soccer, or I play soccer sometimes. Sometimes can go whatever or whatever it was. You can use sometimes and usually. You can say I usually play soccer, usually I play soccer, or I play soccer usually. The order is not important when you are working with sometimes and usually. Did you understand?
Yes.
Any questions? No, right?
No.
No.
Yes, that's great. ¿No hay ninguna diferencia con que tomes el examen en junio o no? What do you think? What is the answer?
There's no make difference.
It makes no difference. Remember, it makes no difference.
No difference.
Makes no difference. Next, Jimmy, de ninguna manera estoy listo para aceptar el trabajo en English.
I am by no means ready to accept this job.
Perfect. Sus opiniones políticas son irrelevantes para mí. How do we say that in English?
Their political opinions are irrelevant to me.
Of course, irrelevant means irrelevante, right? Pero, por ejemplo, en tu trabajo no le vas a decir, oye, tus ideas no me importan. Le tienes que decir un poquito más cortés. Entonces le vas a decir, your ideas are of no consequence to me. Did you understand? of no consequence. Carlos, ¿por qué pones are? Porque dice opinions. Por ejemplo, ¿cómo dirían lo siguiente? Tus propuestas no son relevantes para el proyecto. En English. Your
propose are not
your proposals
consequence for the project.
are of no consequence
No.
to the project. Your ideas. Did you understand?
I could say isn't no or aren't consequence or isn't.
Of course, for example, your idea is idea isn't of
Isn't of
course, because you say of all the time, or is not
consequence.
of
Okay.
consequence to me. Your idea, no me importa tu idea, o la idea no es irrelevante para mí, so your idea is not of consequence to me.
Okay. Es como si de relevancia, ¿no?
Exactamente. Viene de que como que no tiene ninguna consecuencia en mí, como no me importa, pero de una manera más elegante y cortés. Además es un inglés avanzado, C1. Okay. Es un inglés muy académico. Ustedes escucharán a catedráticos hablar de esta manera. Of course, no a Pepito que trabaja hasta cashier, no lo creo. But you, yes, but you, like maybe you are professional, you can use these expressions. Or you can say, for example, that pill is of no consequence to the treatment. Esa pastilla no es relevante para el tratamiento. You can choose another alternative. You see? Ya depende mucho de lo que quieran decir. Next, María Villanueva. How do you say? No recuerdo lo que estabas hablando en English.
I don't have recollection.
Remember, I have no recollection. Recollection. Or, Jimmy, ¿te acuerdas la siguiente versión? I have no.
I have no memory.
I have no memory. I have no memory. Cuando decimos I have no memory es como que no me acuerdo nada, nadita. Borré cassette. Borré cassette. For example, if you drink a lot of alcoholic beverages, the next day you say, well, I have no memory of that, or what happened yesterday. Memory or recollection. And the last question, Jimmy, before we finish this class. Los estudiantes serán bien preparados para su futuro siempre y cuando. How do you say siempre y cuando in English?
Okay, as long as provided of.
Provided that.
Provided that.
Provided. Okay. Well, Jimmy, we are going to stop here. It was a pleasure for me to be here with you today. We learned different structures and grammar. Hemos estado aprendiendo nueva gramática, recordando algunos temas. And tomorrow we continue with our next lesson. Bye-bye, Jimmy. Take care. It was a pleasure for me to be with you today. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Pleasure.